Wings, etc. in Cape Girardeau, and hopefully my voice will let us do the entire show. Apologize up front, a little under the weather. Coach Tom Matukowicz is here, and we're going to be talking it over with the Red Hawks All OVC Center. Zach Gigg is here, and we'll get a chance to catch up with him. We want to remind you that in addition to their award-winning jumbo wings, for both dine-in, carry-out, or delivery, they have a full menu that includes their freshly made burgers. They have wraps, subs, quesadillas, entree salads, smoked ribs, and their appetizer lineup includes their ultimate nachos and their spicy deep-fried pickle chips. And if you're coming for lunch, they've got daily lunch specials that start at just $9.49. And if you'd like to get it delivered, you can do that through the DoorDash app. Just download DoorDash, and it take you just a couple of minutes, set up an account, and you can have wings, etc., delivered to you wherever you may be. The Red Hawks head football coach is with us, Tom Matukowicz, coming off a bye week. What is a bye week like for a Division I head coach?
I don't know. I know what a bye week looks like for Tom Matukowicz, and so a little bit of everything. Most importantly is to just try to disengage, with your job and try to emotionally, get back to 100%. Basically I don't need a break from the physical work. I need a break from the mental work. It feels like you got a rope that's holding 1,000 pounds, and if you ever let it go, you'll never get it back. And that's what it feels like for the 8 or 9 weeks we were going. And then for a week, you could kind of put the rope down. And what that does is now you can kind of detach from the program, look at our 5 games, where are our teams at, who are we, where are things we got to get better at, and things like that, so we can make good decisions to try to go 1-0 5 weeks in a row and accomplish a mission.
The mission, of course, making a run at the OVC Championship. So far, so good. The newest poll is out. I have not seen the new coaches poll. Probably be out a little bit later. You jumped up from 18 to number 16 in the rankings. You're ranked ahead of UT Martin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Eastern Kentucky dropped out. I guess they lost this past weekend. So
lost to
Sanford,
Sanford,
yeah, it looked like you were going to play a ranked team.
Or Sam Houston, I'm sorry.
And so I don't know if Eastern Kentucky will be ranked when you play them, but they were ranked for most of the season.
Yeah.
And so you were threatening on the show that you might go fishing during your bye week. Did you get that accomplished?
I did. I went tent camping. All right, and fished out of my kayak, and it was delightful. So I had good weather, and unfortunately, my wife's too big a sissy to go tent camping, and so I have to go by myself. But I told her if she ever wants to be my BFF, she's going to have to figure this tent camping out, and she says she has plenty of friends.
Well, that took care of that conversation really quick. We're going to be talking with Zach Gigg coming up in just a few minutes, and at least by what you tell us, you have a complicated relationship with Zach Gigg.
We do. It's kind of a love-hate relationship, but, in all seriousness, the one thing that has always been there is I have a profound respect for him. What he's done and is doing is pretty hard to do. He picked up and left California for the first time in his life and came to Cape Girardeau, Missouri. He's got a wonderful family back there and left all his friends and everything he knew because he wanted to be a football player and he wanted to play and be a part of a team. And so that part I really respect. But more than that, he's just a great people guy. He's a great teammate. Lots of our guys like him and all those type of things. My hate relationship with him is, the things that make you good also causes problems in your life. And he's a natural-born fighter. I mean, if the waitress comes over, spills a drink on him, he's ready to fight. Like he's got to figure that part out. Obviously you'll get to know him. He is a great kid. He's going to be a tremendous – I think he's going to get into sales, and we got him a pretty cool internship this summer. And he's just got that people personality that's going to make him successful as long as he builds the other skill sets in life.
So we did not get a chance to catch up with you after the Tennessee Tech game. We talked, briefly on the radio, but your impressions with the way that your team played against Tennessee Tech. First of all, you win the game 34-20, but you hold them to 20 points. That was a nice performance by your defense.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I liked was the 3 turnovers. We got 3 takeaways, and that's something we've been working on. We haven't gotten enough takeaways on defense. We've emphasized it for probably 3 weeks now, and was able to, end the half with it and end the game with it. And then that turnover really was the difference in the game right before half. So we turn them over, get a nice return, and then our offense goes and scores again. That was a 14-point swing that I think really, kind of did them in. So that I really liked. Offensively, we didn't turn it over once. The concern I had is, those penalties and some stupid penalties kind of creeped up there a little bit on us, and we just got to make sure, when emotion's high, clarity's low. And it starts with me. I got to be cooler on the sideline, and it bleeds into the coaches and then into the players that we just got to make sure we maintain our composure and we don't hurt this football team because – we're emotionally charged.
What I thought was interesting with the Trey Hodges interception right before halftime, 7-point game. If he intercepts the ball and you get your offense on the field where he intercepted it, you're not scoring to end the half. But he returns it 49 yards, and then in 2 plays, you guys are in the end zone.
Yeah, and we talk a lot about practicing scoring on defense, who to block, who not to block. Stay high, stay in front, and all those type of things. And, it doesn't matter until you get to a play like that, and it truly changed the game. So great job by him, great job by his teammates of getting him there.
I know you've been a little frustrated sometimes having to settle for field goals rather than punching the football in, but you made the red zone 6 times against Tech, and you scored all 6 times.
Yeah, we were 6-6. This is our first game we didn't leave points out there, so that was a great job by D.C. Pippen, our field goal kicker. He was 2 for 2, and that is starting to get more stable, and we got more confidence, and he's got more confidence in himself. But at the end of the day, you will never put a team away by kicking field goals. And so your risk of losing a game is there unless you can finish drives out. We're good enough. We just got to do a little better job executing down there. It's 1 play here, 1 play there, 1 block, 1 throw, 1 drop ball. But that's been a point of emphasis for the last couple of weeks. So hopefully we can continue to finish those drives once we get down there.
2 hours and 33 minutes. It was a pretty quick football game.
Yeah, I didn't notice that, but they ran the ball. Obviously, we run the ball. It was a great day. I think they're a pretty solid team. Just got to be able to put it all together, but that's not a bad football team right there.
And they've got let's face it, Jeremiah Oatsvall. It seems like he's been in the league for about 10 years, but he's a 6th-year guy. Already has his degree and made a name for himself at Austin Peay. Lost his job when he got hurt. This is as veteran a player as there is in the OVC, Jeremiah Oatsvall.
Yeah, no doubt. And I thought he did a nice job. And we were really good on 3rd down, which has been a struggle for us up until this game on defense. And I think that was a huge piece in limiting the points. But we're kind of finding ourselves a little bit on defense. We lost a couple of those linebackers. And we're playing more DBs now, and we kind of got to adjust our system a little bit and maybe try to play defense a different way because of those injuries.
You hold them 1 for 13 on 3rd down. Now, they had 4 4th down conversions because they had no choice but to go for it, especially toward the end. But 1 of 13 on 3rd down, that has to make you happy.
No, for sure, especially when it's been a point of emphasis and we haven't been playing that well. So that's huge. We got to keep that going. That's what we call a critical situation. It stops drives, it limit points, everything you need to play well on defense.
And it was good to have Ryan Flournoy back in the mix, and Paxton DeLaurent certainly was happy to see him. But 5 catches, 101 yards, 2 touchdowns for Flournoy. He's a game changer, isn't he?
He's different. He's special. And, of course, you see the touchdowns and the long passes. And I don't know if you saw just how relentless he was in blocking. Like our perimeter screen game is really, really good because those guys do a great job blocking for each other.
And is that a skill that he brought with him to SEMO, or has he developed as a very good blocker?
I don't know. I think he's probably more developed. Where at junior college, he made his name with just catching the ball, and here that. At Division I, you got to do all of it, but he's a competitor. It wouldn't matter what he's doing; he wants to be great at it, and that's what makes him special. So even the run blocking and when he's not getting the ball, all those type of things, he does a great job with.
So defensively in the game, you sack Oatsvall twice, but I can't count how many times he was slow to get up after play. I mean, he felt. You could tell he was beaten up by the end of that football game.
Yeah.
You were in his face all day.
Yeah, he's a kind of a gamer, and he'll, extend plays and kind of risk his body at times and get hit and all that. And they run him, and so it's already been a long season for him. But I certainly respect him and the way he competed for sure.
Another OVC Newcomer of the Week award for Paxton DeLaurent. He throws for 266 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he stayed fairly clean. He was sacked twice.
Yeah, no, did a great job. Probably had 2 plays. One play, he dropped the ball, able to pick it back up and go, and then one he kind of forced the ball in the end zone. Other than that, I thought, man, he had a really clean game. And he was banged up. He had a displaced rib. That he's been playing with for the last 2 weeks. And so this bye week really helped him. Not that he didn't have, a serious injury, but, he's kind of the same way. He's a gamer, and he's going to, take some hits a little bit. And so really glad that he was able to get that bye week.
Boy, if anybody has ever had any type of a rib issue, whether it's cracked or whatever, I mean, it's hard to breathe. I mean, you don't want to cough. I mean, That's an injury that is, very uncomfortable.
And he even brought up it affected his sleep, which you don't really think about, but obviously when you turn or make a movement, then you get that pain. So he's having a lot of disruptive sleep. But anyway, with all conference, one thing I thought we kind of switched up our defense. We got Lawrence Johnson around the football more. So he went more from being a DB to be more around the box, and he was just really, really active. I thought it was one of Lawrence's best games. Just was around the football a bunch and had an impact, which I think he is an impact player.
Not only did he tie for the team lead in tackles with 12, but he had a quarterback sack, 3 tackles behind the line of scrimmage, and an interception. That's about as good as you're going to do.
Right. And so, I think he's dialed in, and we found them a good home there. And I think he's going to continue to put up those kind of numbers.
And so you have moved things defensively and not really by choice. You've kind of been forced to play defense a little differently because of the injuries to your outside linebackers.
Yeah, and we got 3 of them out, and – we don't know when they'll come back, and so we're having to play. But at the end of the day, though, we got to get our best players on the field, right? That's what any good coach can do. And but it is tough and challenging, and guys have to learn different positions and things like that. But the way we played last week, I think, that's who we need to be. That's what we need to continue to get better at, because that gets our best players in position to help this football team.
And your 2 top tacklers, Lawrence Johnson, of course, had 12. Bryce Norman, another double-digit tackle game. He had a dozen tackles.
Yeah, and just played really physical. Loved how he played. another really good game. You know, Ty Leonard's a kid that we don't talk a lot about, but I feel like he's having just a tremendous year. I think just the consistency, man. He's tackled well, and of course he's doing a good job covering receivers. Lots of time he's on their best guy. But I think Ty's kind of having a breakout season also at corner.
And 6 tackles in the game for Ty Leonard and Edrick Lewis. We don't talk a whole lot about him, Coach, but give us an update on him.
Yeah, so he has played. He ended up breaking his thumb, so he's been injured a little bit. Missed a game or 2. I can't remember how many, but was back in this last game and had a nice game. He's also the backup punt returner, very skilled, top-end guy. He's from Texas and has really helped with the depth in the secondary because, as you know, early on in the season, man, we were hurting there.
And he's backing up right now Tyler Nalome at cornerback, and you've really had to interchange a lot in the defensive backfield.
We have, but really we're as healthy as we've been now. So hopefully, you know, the depth in the secondary can hold up because we're going to need to play more of them because of the being banged up at outside linebacker.
Paxton DeLaurent officially ran the ball 6 times. He finished with 16 yards rushing. It doesn't look like he is, I guess it depends on the situation in the game, but it looks like he's not as anxious maybe to start doing things with his legs as he was early in the season.
Yeah, I think so, and we're kind of discouraging that a little bit. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to be better with Paxton in the game, you know, and we're good enough at all the other things that you don't have to do it all. You know, certainly scrambling is a part of his game, but we just don't want him to take the big hits, you know. And don't try to turn a 5-yard gain into an 8-yard gain by doing all this crazy stuff and expose yourself to a big-time hit, you know.
So has he been told at the end of some runs to slide, or?
He's not a great slider, and sliding can get you hurt too. Like you remember Santa down at Arkansas State. Yep. You know, so at the end of the day, I don't believe in that. I think just understanding, don't be going sideways because of blindside shots. You know, get what you could get out of bounds. Don't be greedy. Like, get what you could get. When the plays are getting ready to be over, just take that big-time hit off yourself.
You know, we obviously talk about the skill guys, but when you are scoring as much as you are, you're second in the OVC in scoring points. It's one thing to have great skill guys, and you do, but you don't score the way you're scoring if the offensive line is not doing the job. And we'll talk to Zach Gigg coming up here, but to talk about how you feel about your offensive line and how they're playing.
I just think they're really playing at an extremely high level. I think we've been up and down. We've really protected the passer pretty good all year, but we haven't ran the ball good all year. But here in the last 3 games, we're kind of hitting our stride, kind of finding ourselves in the run game, what we're going to be good at. And those guys, man, I mean, they attack the point of attack. They control it, and really are dominating in a lot of those blocks. And it's great to see. Not a lot of mistakes back there, and probably our most consistent unit, you know.
Everybody loves the name Kobe Six Killer. He is your right guard. Coach, give us a little info about Kobe Six Killer. I know we touched on him one time during the show, but he has stepped right in and is a starting player as just a sophomore.
Yeah, you know, he's just a great guy, unique. You know, he's an O-lineman. He's all O-lineman, but he runs a fishing lure company.
Really?
And Gigg will tell you, because Gigg thinks he's a good golfer, which he's not. But it might be the best golfer on the team.
Really?
You know, so he's kind of a unique guy. And, you know, even recruiting, we brought him here on a visit. He really liked it, but then New Mexico State came in at the last weekend. So they're an FBS school. They offered him. He brought him down on a visit, and he ended up choosing us over them, and it was because he just felt home here. He really gravitated to the O-line and Zach and the unit they had, but also as a team and our culture here. And so it's just been a great seamless fit for him.
You know, how often do you have a guy who will give you a verbal commitment and then, you know, that it doesn't end up finishing that way? I know, you know, guys are young and, you know, they want to do what they want to do. SEMO had a baseball player who he's now the hitting coach for SEMO, but gave a verbal commitment to come and play baseball at SEMO, and at the last second, he's from Arkansas, the Razorbacks came in, and they said, we want you, and he had already given his word that he was coming to SEMO and turned down the Razorbacks. Now, as a grad transfer, he went for one more year at Arkansas, but he's back here. But giving his word, he felt obliged during recruiting to not change his mind. How rare is that?
Yeah, as rare as anything. I mean, your word just doesn't mean what it used to mean, and you know, and it's just whatever you think of it, whatever your family values, and who you are as a man, and stuff like that. But you know, it's just such a crazy time that, you know, I actually oversign because I know one of them ain't gonna, you know, you're not gonna go 100 out of 100, so you plan for that. But it's certainly impressive when you come along somebody that means what they say and do what they say.
How about the way that you are defending the run? You've got the number 2 rush defense in the OVC, and I know that is really important to you, to be able to run the ball and to be able to stop the run.
Yeah, for sure. I just think that gives you consistency. You're going to get teams in long yardage situation, passing situations where now you could turn them over. And then also it's going to help you in critical situations like red zone. You know, if they can run it in there, you know, it's pretty tough to stop them. But if you can make them one-dimensional, you know, 9 times out of 10, that'll help you. Not this week, though. You know, we're playing, and we're going to talk Northwestern State later, but they really, really love to throw it. So, you know, that's a different situation. And just like anything, you got to make somebody beat you, not with their strengths, but a weakness, you know. So don't let somebody play to their strength, you know. Take that away and make them beat you a different way.
How about the way the defensive line is playing right now? You've got William Holmes, London Manuel, Stephen Lewis, the top 3 across that front line.
Doing a great job. You know, I think we're leading the league in sacks or close to that. And a year ago, we were the opposite. And so I think it says a lot about our D-line. The best thing we have at D-line is depth. I think we could play 6 of those guys and can be really effective. London is just a tremendous leader, as you met. You know, he gets those guys going. You know, Stephen Lewis is that strong. Just, hey, you ain't gonna run it over on Stephen Lewis's side, you know.
And he seems to have a relentless motor.
Yeah, for sure. All those guys do. They do a great job, and Coach Steckel does a great job of getting those guys to play hard each and every snap.
You are tied for the OVC lead in sacks with UT Martin. You each have 17, so you're getting to the quarterback about
Well, that's
3
interesting
times a
because
game.
Coach Steckel keeps telling me we're number 1 in the OVC in sacks, so I guess I need to start checking his math. I guess if I was the D-line coach, I would say we're leading the league.
And I want to make sure that I get it exactly right. Yeah, you have 17. Martin has 17 sacks as well. So theoretically, you are leading the league in sacks.
Gotcha, yeah.
Just tied with UT Martin. And as far as this Northwestern State club that you're going to face, they got off to a really slow start. They lost their first 3 games, but they have come on. They've won 3 of their last 4.
Yeah. You know, they were a team that really has just had a lot of change. They got a lot of new coaches and took a lot of transfers. And so there's just been this process of change. And they've done a great job getting their team going. They're 3-0 in their league. We're going to be their homecoming, and so it's going to be 87 degrees down there, and so there's unique challenges there. They're averaging 90 plays on offense, and so it is a unique game, and I'm excited. Never been there. So can't wait to go play him, and it's a quality opponent. It really is.
Man, down in Louisiana, of course, the food down there. I mean,
I married a Louisiana woman.
She's from Louisiana.
Yeah.
All right.
We first got married. She was trying to kill me with all the spice. Pepper wore me out when we first got married, but now I'm a little bit more into her. Her signature dish is crawfish étouffée.
Really?
So that's her signature dish. That's like, if she likes you, she's breaking that out on you.
Is she going on this trip?
She is.
All
Family's
right.
going on. Yep.
So back in her home state then?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. How did this game come about, too? I mean, I know that, the Southland is working with the OVC in terms of just getting games together.
Yeah, it was a scheduling alliance just because they had some teams exit their conference. We had some teams exit our conference. And so there was just a mutual need and was able to do this. I've really enjoyed it because, you don't know anything about them, whether it was Nichols or Central Arc. I mean, all these teams you're trying to figure out, and they're new teams, and it's been fun.
And the addition of Lindenwood to the conference. They're playing well. They win in double overtime on the road at Eastern Illinois, and that quarterback is just putting up monster numbers,
Yeah.
Cade Brister. So far, Lindenwood has been a nice addition to the league.
I agree. It's been exactly what you want. It's still regional. You got the St. Louis market, and, they were a Division II playoff team before they came in, so obviously they were playing at a high level, and I agree. I think that was a great ad.
And in its last year in the league, it has been a horrible season for Murray State. Nobody's shedding any tears for the Racers, who are 0-7. I don't think anybody saw that coming.
No, I mean, I think they were preseason, picked up there in the conference and stuff like that. And not exactly sure. I haven't kept up with them. Haven't seen them on film or anything. I know their quarterback got injured, which is tough on anybody.
Sure.
But not 0-7 tough. Like, you must have had probably some other injuries and stuff like that, because they're obviously quality coaches there.
How healthy are you? We know about the problem at linebacker. How healthy are you on the offensive side of the football right now?
As good as we've been. Yeah. And so don't have any starters out. Plus, you just get a lot of aches and pains and stuff that hopefully a week off got you feeling back to 100%.
So what was the bye week like for the players? What was their routine during this?
It was interesting because this is the first time I've had a bye week in what's called fall break. So Thursday and Friday they are off of school too, which kind of changed the way I looked at it. And so the players lifted Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We had a big team run on Wednesday, and then I cut them loose. And so they were actually able to travel home, go home, even people from a long ways away, and be with their family and friends, which I think is really, really important. And so that was a great deal that they were able to do and get their mind away from football. But the challenge is you still got to be productive, and you can't just lay in the sack all week long and things like that. You need to be active, and we'll have our first practice at 5:30 today, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of team shows up.
And this will be their first look at Northwestern State, I'm guessing. You probably didn't even discuss them last week.
No, and as coaches we did. That was what I did the most of. Our assistants did most of the recruiting, and then now we're getting focused in on them.
How is recruiting going?
Really good. Yeah, we're off to a strong start. I think we got maybe 8 commitments, something like that. But there's a good buzz. There's a good, our brand is good. I mean, it really is. We've had guys come to games, and obviously with the stadium and all that doesn't look the way you want it to look and all that, but they all come away impressed. They come away impressed with our game day environment and all the people that are here, and of course the excitement of what a new stadium brings and all that. So recruiting's going well.
Are you showing them, the drawings, the professional drawings? Are you showing them, hey, here's what it's going to look like?
Yeah, all the assistants do all those type of things, and I still try to make it. If that's why you come here, I don't want you. You're not my kind of guy, and it's going to show up practice one, I promise you. And so we just got to make sure our identity, who we are, we attract those type people, and especially with the portal and how easy it is to leave and transfer, man. I just don't want to make mistakes and recruit the wrong kind of person that, because it's hard to win with newcomers, man. If you got a bunch of players that just got here that you're playing with, it's probably going to be, tough sledding there for a while.
Because it is so easy now to leave in Division I sports and jump into the portal, do you have to coach any differently? Have you noticed, are you coaching these young men differently than before the portal really burst onto the scene?
Well, I think what it's done is it's challenged as coaches is you can no longer say, hey, do it because I said so. That doesn't exist. What the challenge is, I got to create something they want to be a part of. It's never been easier to just leave, right? And it should be easy to tell me that I'm leaving, but it should be hard for you to tell a teammate, hey, I'm leaving because I want to go over here. It's better for me. If you've got a team that's close and have built relationships, that should be a hard conversation to tell your teammates you're leaving. And so that's what I've really tried to do, is just double down on the relationships and the connectedness within my roster. And also recruiting-wise, we're not going to outer space to find players. Like, we need to try to get them fairly close just to, try to, if they're from a long ways away, it's just kind of easier to leave because this isn't home, So we've adjusted recruiting a little, even though we do cast a pretty big net.
So do you have a specific assistant coach that is more involved with the portal than, say, another assistant?
Our recruiting coordinator, so the full-time coaches don't get involved in the portal until it hits, and then our GAs and our recruiting coordinator does the portal. But like I said, and I don't like four-year transfers. I like junior college transfers, but I don't. When I get a guy from Tennessee and he comes in our locker room, well, he's pissed. Where's my fifth pair of shoes, and why don't I have this? And that just seeps into the culture and all that stuff. And so I don't like those type of entitled type kids. So, a lot of times, it's got to be a special situation for me to take a drop down. Junior college guys are different, man. They're just happy with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and they love football. And so I think it's that fit. And I think it's a little bit of me. I don't like, I'm different, but I am the head coach, and that culture's what I do, and so the fit piece is important.
All right, give us a good Zach Gigg story before we talk with him.
Oh, my God. It'd be – I don't know if we could stop talking by the time. But I really appreciate, I've just noticed his beard game's gotten way better. When he first got here, it looked like a cat could lick it off. But he's looking way better, so that's important. And like I said, I just have a tremendous amount of respect for him. Not only, he's a great player, but he's also a great teammate, and I'm glad he's here.
All right. He is the starting all-conference center for the Red Hawks, and he will join us when we come back. Zach Gigg joins us on the Coaches Show after we take a quick timeout. Thanks to Coach Tom Matukowicz. We'll chat it over a little bit more with Coach Tuke and their opponent, Northwestern State, out of the Southland Conference. But we're going to welcome Zach Gigg onto the show. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
All right. Now, I was just asking you because I've lived in California. I didn't know where Morgan Hill, California is. Where exactly is your hometown?
More for people to know, it's probably an hour south of San Francisco. Probably, you said you live in San Jose, so about 20 minutes, a little south from there. So it's pretty close to the beach, not too far, but it's a lot different than here, I'll tell you that.
It is. I don't know about you, but I think San Francisco is one of the coolest cities I've ever been to.
I like it. I like going for the day. I couldn't be up there too much longer than that. I like to visit, the Golden Gate. There's a lot of cool viewpoints and Alcatraz, and we used to go to a lot of Giants games growing up, so that was always fun when they were winning the World Series. But, yeah, it's a cool place to be.
San Francisco. So how about your journey to Cape Girardeau? You were at Fresno State for a couple of years, but never saw the field.
I never. I went to Fresno State out of high school. It was a great experience, learning experience-wise. Got a lot of great coaching, met a lot of my best friends, and that was really the hardest part, was to leave the guys. But I have nothing but positivity for them and wish them the best. But I came here. I wanted an opportunity to make a difference on a team and help a team win games, and found this place, and I fell in love pretty much.
Well, you have been outstanding since stepping on campus. What are the primary responsibilities for a center, because they're different than other linemen?
Usually I got to make sure that I communicate an odd or even call where the nose is set up on the defense so that our tight ends can hear it, because that alters their blocks. Sometimes if Paxton doesn't notice something, he'll usually check the plays. Now this year, I can point out, where I see something, let him know. We'll do it's called a fan call. Usually when there's 5 up on the O-line and we're all man-on-man, we let Paxton know and kind of signal that in with a little hand gesture. But other than that, just trying to communicate with the guys so that we're all on the same page.
And what's it like playing with Paxton DeLaurent? Because on the surface, you would say he was at an NAIA school, and this is Division I. So on paper, you say, boy, I wonder if he has a chance to be an impact player. Well, that question is answered.
Yeah, Paxton this year, he's been great. He really gives us a chance no matter where we are in a game. I would say, you never feel out of it this year. I feel like that's a big difference. And he's becoming a great leader. He's always cool to me, I think he said on the show we had a rocky start at the beginning of our relationship, and usually all winter and summer we kind of grew together, and now we talk all the time, watch film together on Tuesdays before practice, and we kind of work together a lot better, and I love him as our quarterback, and he's doing great things for us.
Boy, and he has the ability to extend plays.
Exactly.
Especially with, how about when you've got a quarterback that can extend a play, how tougher is it for the offensive lineman to keep the blocks and, not stray too far from the line of scrimmage?
Exactly. That's always the thing this year is we're trying not to get too far upfield. We never know if he's going to pass it or run it. We just have our responsibility. Try and stay with that. And we look up and, hey, it's a 30-yard pass, or Gino's running right past you. You never really know. But we do have to continue our blocks a lot longer than usual. You never know when the play's over. You can't really count Paxton out of a play, I think.
How much pride do you guys as a unit take when Geno Smith runs for 270 yards in a game?
Oh, we want to run the ball every play. Our coach, Orchard, he's a great coach. He preaches running the ball every play. I know Coach Tuke loves to run the ball. We want to run the ball. What's good is when we can't, Paxton can throw the ball. And I feel like we've gotten a lot better since the beginning of the season at running the ball, utilizing Geno and our other guys. But I love blocking for Geno. I love that. I love when we run it in. There's no better feeling as an O-lineman than a running touchdown, to be honest with you.
How about working with Lucas Orchard, because he was a really good player for the Red Hawks?
Oh, I love Coach Orchard. I try and model my play after his. we watch a lot of his film, and we always go back and forth. And he was a pretty nasty player, and he knew how to get after it.
He
and,
would play to the echo of the whistle.
Oh yeah, and I try to stay to the echo of the whistle. Usually, I mean, this year I haven't gone past it, which is good. But he really he preaches going right to the whistle and not doing anything after. But he really has taught us a lot. And
Trust
I
me,
love
he
playing
did
for
some
him.
things after the whistle when he was a player.
Yeah, we've seen a few of those plays, but he's a great coach, and I love playing for him.
All right, how different is it being a center? Have you always been a center? You play any other position?
In high school, I was always left guard. When I went to Fresno, they kind of made the transition to center my sophomore year. Because I'm a shorter guy, I got shorter arms. I know it's not really the ideal height for a D1 football player, but the transition, it was hard because the pressure of snapping the ball, especially shotgun, you never really know exactly where the ball's going. So that I feel like I've had to take a lot of time to get the snaps down perfectly because I have to snap the ball, get my hand up, and then block, or snap, then pull, and it's a lot different than just getting out of your stance. You got a whole responsibility, and we preach ball security, and if you have the ball, you have our season in your hands. So I feel like I got to take a big responsibility with having the ball in my hands every play, and it is hard to adjust to, but I've learned to love it.
Okay, so how much do you have to work with Paxton so you guys are really in sync?
You know what? It kind of, to be honest with you, it kind of just fell into place. We really are like-minded now, I feel like, and he usually always tells me in practice. I look back, he'll tell me if the snap was here, he'll tell me if the snap was there. He'd say, hey, get it up, bring it down, oh, that was a little too fast. So sometimes we get into it about where my snaps are, but, I mean, it's been pretty easy this year because he works with me and I work with him, and we kind of got it down.
Nobody has anything to say about the center until the snap is off, and then
it comes. Then it gets after you. So that's the hard part. But the success that we've been having this year, it all pays off. I can take a few negative comments here and there.
So how important is it to have chemistry on an offensive line? I know with some teams, I mean, the O-linemen, they hang together all the time.
Oh, we do.
What's it like here?
So I live with Nate Cordy, our right tackle. He's our leader. He's been here for his whole college career. Kobe Sixkiller lives right next door. Terry and Chiron also live down the road, and we always hang out. We're always together during the week, watching football. We'll watch football tonight after practice. We were with each other last night. I went to Mexican food with Sixkiller. He's one of my best buddies. I feel like that's a big difference this year is our O-line loves each other, and we fight for each other, and we know we're one unit, and I think that's pretty big for us. I think that's part of the reason why we're doing so good this year as a team is because we all love each other. We hang out. We all do things together. We go eat. We play. We work out together. It's a really tight-knit unit. Just not the O-line itself, but the whole team this year, I feel like.
Boy, I've seen a lot of Red Hawk games over the years, and they've had NFL receivers, but I don't think they have ever been this talented at wide receiver. What do you think of the depth at wide receiver and how they impact the game?
Well, this year, I think that our whole receiving core is pretty darn good. I mean, you got Flournoy, Vic, Dalen. You have Johnny King. I mean, I could name them all. I mean, kids are out there to make plays. G. Todd will come in and make plays. Jack Klink will come in when we need him. I mean, it's really cool to have depth and be able to count on those guys on the outside. If we're not running the ball as well, we know we can throw the ball. So that's always awesome to have a chance. We always have a chance. Paxton will throw it up. Our guys will get up there and grab it, and it sure feels good to look up and see them grab that ball when we run down the field.
Well, I want you to tell everybody what it was like for you when you were with the volunteered Camp for Stars, a football camp for children with Down syndrome. How was that?
That was one of my most, I would say a highlight in my life. I did that for 4 years in high school. Our head coach, Coach Machado, he kind of took in. There's this man. He's a man now. He's 35 years old. He has Down syndrome. Down syndrome. His name's Drew, and he was with our program for probably, I would say, 20 years before I was there. He's been growing up with our coach, and our coach and the 49ers and the 49er cheerleaders, they all come out to our field, and we have like a camp, and it's like we practice for a few hours, and then we run a little scrimmage at the end. And it's always just, it's really cool to help these kids out. And to be honest, most of them are older than me. So it was always funny to see their personalities and just get after the ball. They love football. They're so aggressive. They want to go after each other. And it was always fun to be out there and play with them. It wasn't even, we weren't even coaching. These kids were so ready. They'd throw the ball, they'd run, grab the flags. They were all over the field, and it was always a good experience. And you can see the 49ers. We had some University of San Diego guys out there. So it was like a huge mix, just the community coming together to help out people, which was pretty cool.
So did you grow up a 49er fan?
I am actually a Cowboys fan.
A Cowboys fan?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Didn't really work out too well last night, but my mom and her family, they're all Niners fans. My dad, he had family in Texas growing up, and he kind of put that on me. So it's kind of been a hard life as a Cowboys fan, but, you know, we got to stick with them.
All right. Who should be the starting quarterback?
You know what? I really liked Cooper Rush until last night.
And that was it.
Yeah, that was about it. Dak's coming back. That should be good. But, you know, whoever's out there, I think they can get it done.
All right, Cowboy fan, Zach Gigg. We appreciate the time and best of luck going forward and stay healthy.
Thank you.
All right, that is Zach Gigg. Coach Tom Matukowicz will rejoin us. We get you ready for the big game at Northwestern State coming up on Saturday at 1 o'clock. It's the Red Hawks Coaches Show from Wings, etc. In Cape Girardeau. We'll be in Jackson next week, so hope you'll join us then. Red Hawks are headed down to Northwestern State, and I guess at the top of the scouting report, how do you slow down their passing game? Because teams have been able to put passing yards on your defense.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's a great opportunity. They're really, really good at throwing the football. Defending the pass is something we got to get better at to win the league, and so this is a great opportunity for those guys. Challenge them. And looking forward to the challenge.
You know, it was kind of bend but don't break against Lindenwood because they're as good as any team I've seen you play throwing the football. I think SIU can throw the football as well, so it's probably good that you've already played two teams that really throw the football, and you had success against them.
No, absolutely, and we got to do a great job with it. It's a challenge. Or got some really, really nice receivers, some good skill. Quarterback's doing a nice job. Played really, really well last week, and so we got our work cut out for us for sure.
Usually I will have already been on a website, just kind of see what the the stadium is like and see what kind of facilities they've got. I have not done that for them. What are their facilities like?
I'm not sure. Their stadium looks big. I heard the visitors' locker room is really, really bad, and so it's a hot day, so guys can't be outside. So there's some unique challenges with this road trip. But that being said, we should be the freshest team. They played straight. We got a bye. We got a good football team. We need a great week of preparation and, go execute.
I know this is a kind of thing that, the media thinks about. I'm sure fans do as well. And if you would get an opportunity to host a playoff game, would the state of Houck Stadium currently, do you think that would disqualify you for being able to bid on a playoff football game?
Right. Well, like you said, that's what media thinks about, all right? That's not what Coach Duke thinks about. Let's try to go to Louisiana and win a game, all right? And then if we do that, I'll talk about it next week.
Okay.
Is that a deal?
But
Speaking of fan, I'd like to talk about this.
Yeah.
I would like to talk about college football this weekend.
It was pretty good.
And I don't normally watch it, obviously.
Right.
But my wife and I went out and had dinner and while the Tennessee game was on.
That was a crazy game.
And I'm talking that fans were going berserko. And because, it's something that I didn't really realize I miss in life. Like I didn't grow up a sports fan. I didn't grow up going to sports. But to see the joy on these Tennessee fans' face, man, is awesome. And just what makes college football so cool. And then the Utah, I watched the Utah and the USC game and stuff like that. But, man, and you probably watch a lot of it, right? Do you
Yes.
watch a lot of college football?
Yep.
So that had to be as good a Saturday there's been in a while, right?
Absolutely, it was.
Yeah. And the goalpost. Ripped them down.
That stadium seats 105,000 people.
Yeah, I coached in it. We played them when I was at Northern Illinois. It's a great stadium, and their fans are, as good of fans as there is, just like in the SEC, and just so happy for that. But it also just gave me a good reminder that I need to appreciate a fan and what they go through, to be a fan, and I just thought that was a pretty cool weekend.
So, I guess you just kind of answered the question. You don't watch a lot of college football. Do you watch much NFL football?
No, I'm not. I don't. I mean, that's my life. Like, I don't need more football in my life. So I don't. I'm not I don't watch it hardly at all unless there's something I want to. I was watching New Mexico State, New Mexico, because Jerry Kill's at New Mexico State, and Nate Dreiling, former coach and stuff. So those would be the reasons, because you have an interest in it. But just for football, I get enough of that.
So how close contact do you stay with Coach Kill?
Not at all. Way more with Nate.
Okay.
Nate was on our staff. I don't know if you knew that. Nate Dreiling's now their defensive coordinator.
Okay.
And so keep up with him.
What was it like coaching with Kill? Because, man, you guys had a lot of success at SIU.
You bet. And had 2 other stops with him also, and learned a lot about football from him, and those great memories and all the great players we had at SIU. And I talked to all those coaches that I coached with at SIU too. So some great memories.
When you are developing as your own style as a head football coach, how much do you pick and choose of coaches that you've worked with over the years?
I think the key is just self-discovery, because ultimately me trying to be the best Jerry Kill, there's only one Jerry Kill. Me trying to be the best Matt Campbell, even though there's qualities of that, I have to understand who am I. And I got to be the best Tom Matukowicz I could be. That's going to give me the best chance to lead our football team. But there are certain things within the organization, your processes and organization structure and stuff that you learn from these really good coaches, and how you treat people and things like that. But I think just learning more about who I am as a football coach has helped me be a better coach than anything else.
How much did you learn about yourself last year when you also had to be the defensive coordinator and the head coach, something that I don't know if there's another coach in the country that had to go through something like that?
Yeah, I knew that I never want to do that again. But, you know, that's what you appreciate about life. You know, you have seasons of lives, and the season of life that I was in, that's what needed to happen, and that's what I needed to do to step up, and grew a lot, learned a lot, and you're seeing some of those things manifest itself in this season. This season didn't just happen this season. A lot of the things and a lot of the work that was done previously has led into some of the results this year. But life is fun, man. I'll tell you the other thing that I surprise myself is just you naturally try to seek comfort, in life. And it's kind of baffling. You think your job shouldn't be hard. It's always going to be hard. Even though you worked here for 9 years, you're still going to have a hard job next year. It's always going to be hard because life is hard. And so just embracing when you're in these struggles and trying to solve problems because of the person that you're going to become outside of it, the character and all the things you learn going through the tough times and the good. It's why I love our profession, man. This profession will ask you to keep growing every single year. The moment you think you got it, there it is. That's how you've let it slip, and you're going to have a terrible season. So I've just really grown to appreciate the challenging, job that I got. Fulfilling. It's not just challenging.
What do the Red Hawks have to do to go get a big road win on Saturday?
We need to play smart, no stupid penalties, and then we need to win a turnover margin. If we do that, I think we're good enough to win. Even though this would be a tough road challenge, it's their homecoming. We're going to get their best. It's 87 degrees, all those type of things. But at the end of the day, we just can't lose to SEMO, and we're going to do a great job. It starts with preparation, our practice, and all that stuff. So
it's tough to do if it's not warm here in Missouri. It's tough to duplicate that in practice of what you're going to see on Saturday.
Yeah. And so you're going to have to play more players probably, because you can't acclimate them, right? We, don't have that luxury, so we got to do a good job of developing some depth this week.
1 o'clock kickoff on Saturday at Northwestern State down in Louisiana. Coach, best of luck against the Demons coming up on Saturday, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yes, sir. Go Red Hawks.
All right. That is Coach Tom Matukowicz. Thanks to Zach Gigg for joining us as well. Thanks also to Rachel Cook and Mike Rennick here on location. We'll get you right back into ESPN radio programming. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, everybody. So long from Wings Etc. and the Red Hawks Coaches Show.